Shetudarpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagninirvapanam Shreyatairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavarujivanam Anandam Munivaranam Pratipadam Puhamritasvadanam Sarvatma Smadanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Katrarpitani Amitasmane Nakala Itadrisi Tabakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrisham Mihajani Naturaha Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sudhisuna Amanena Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nananam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavatat Bhaktir Ahaitiki Tvai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Navapada Pankaja Sita Duli Sadrisham Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashidaya Vadanam Gadada Rudagira Udakarnichitam Vakukata Tavanamagrahani Vavishyati Yugaitam Namishkena Chakshusha Pradrisaitam Sunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Vinahenami Aslishyava Padaratam Pinasumam Adarsanam Amatam Murotava Yatatata Bhavidatu Lampato Matrananatastu Saevanapara. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Dayam Udirayat Nastapriyeshu Abhyeshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Bhaktir Bhagati Nastaki Vajanatramanandasya Janajana Sarakaya Chakshuvan Militani Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Vajakoptu Vischa Kripasan Vacha Patitanam Pamanebhyo Vaishnavijyo Namaha. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's another Saturday evening, and on Saturday evenings we discuss Krishna's pastimes from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, often referred to as the smiling face of that wonderful literature. Srimad Bhagavatam is only about Lord Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami has proven this beyond any shadow of a doubt in his Sandarbhas. And in those Sandarbhas, which are the crest jewel of philosophical explanations into the nature of spiritual understanding, we find that Srimad Bhagavatam is used as his proof of all spiritual knowledge contained in the Veda. So of all evidence, he considers Srimad Bhagavatam the topmost praman, topmost evidence. And if you can support your understanding by Srimad Bhagavatam, then that's the best. And he shows how that's done again and again through the Tattva Sandarbha. That Sandarbha that teaches us what's the nature of knowledge. If we're going to talk about knowledge, well, it has its own characteristics. And what's the nature of the Supreme Lord himself? The Bhagavat Sandarbha. What's the nature of God? What's the nature of God's various energies? what's the methodology for that understanding of God, that understanding, the Bhakti Sandarbha. There's a methodology. If you follow a certain method of thinking, feeling, and willing, you will become self-realized. And if your objective is to obtain love for the Supreme Lord Bhakti, then this is how you should think, how you should feel, and how you should will. And all that thinking, feeling, and willing is done in accordance with the way it was presented in the Bhagavatam. All the great narrations of the Bhagavatam point to this one central personality. All of them are pointing right here. So the Bhagavatam, we should not be able to get enough of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we look at that magnificent form of the Supreme Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam, we naturally begin at the feet, and we gradually, as we would offer something pleasing to the form of the Lord, we start with his feet and go up, right? And we come up to the face. So the smiling face of Bhagavatam is this 10th canto. And this 10th canto gives us entrance into the Lord's pleasure pastimes. And it begins by those pleasure pastimes which are the sweetest. Those pleasure pastimes which are exhibited free of a sense of godliness. And we call those the Vraja Lila. Those pastimes highlight the relationships in bhava, in love with the Supreme Lord, wherein those involved in that love, they don't really know he's God. Now, the astrologer came at the time of birth and said, he's as powerful as God. But he didn't come right out and say, well, he's been here before. To give him that, well, he's been here, he's come many times in many different forms. I'll give you that much. But he never came right out. Of course, he was a great sage, and he also knew the climate of the day, and it was a hostile attitude in the local administration. So therefore, to come right out and say, hey, here's the Krishna that is going to be the complete end of Kamsa, the king of the land, would not have been a very good political move to make. We depend on the great sages in many ways. They deliver knowledge to us according to time, place, and circumstance. And sometimes that circumstance has a lot to do with the social climate of the day. So we've kind of touched on that indirectly and directly. When we look at the presentation of the spirituality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into Western culture, which is already steeped in a tradition that holds certain conceptions as dear to their understanding, to their religious practice. So there are certain things, and the Acharya's preaching in the world is a work in progress with his disciples, according to their spiritual qualifications and according to their social circumstance? What is the sense of spirituality that they're coming to the guru with? And he judges that, and then he gives instructions according to that. And sometimes later those instructions are taken as absolute, whereas it was just a temporary presentation, something that was necessary for the day to protect his student and situate him in the practice, knowing that as the practice cleared his consciousness, then he could deal with any misconceptions. We see this specifically in the introduction of our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, in coming to the Western world and having a huge Judeo-Christian following. Westerners. They didn't come from the Vedic culture. They didn't believe in demigods. They didn't believe in many gods. They didn't even have much of a conception of what and who God was, except a servant of God. And they said, well, that's God. Not really looking deeply at what it means when the servant of God says, I'm as good as God. For you, as a student, that's a proper conception. And you're here in this world because of original sin. Isn't that what they call it? Original sin, eating an apple, or and so these things are there. And the guru is expert in putting things into proper perspective according to time and circumstance. So there was a time and circumstance when Krishna appeared, and he was immediately rushed away from the palace of Kamsa in the middle of the night, through hell and high water, taken away from that place to the land of Goloka, Gokula, the whole Sura rise. And he was raised as someone else's son. Well, not really, but that's another story. We're not going to go there tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about Krishna's, another step in the process of Krishna coming of age. And we're going to talk about that. We've been kind of discussing his becoming a young man. We consider a child, but in their culture, the child started work at an early age. It wasn't really like indentured servitude or child labor, because these young boys were anxious. They were chomping at the bit to become cowherdsmen. I mean, there's nothing in there. That's what they wanted. And when they were given the calves, well, you start out, we could have the calves? That's, yeah, great. So this Kumara age, during the Kumara age, all the cowherd boys, Krishna and all his friends, were elated to be in charge of the calves. They were just thrilled beyond anything. Now they were becoming men. And they had their sticks, and they had their bugles, and they had their lunch pails, and they went out daily, and they took care of the calves, and they played. And they played hard. They played from, well, their parents were afraid they'd never come home. They played so much. And they played far away. So their parents were always cautioning them. And we even hear from Brihat Bhagavatamrita, even for Krishna to get away from Mother Yasoda was a chore for him. She would run up to him again and again and look him over, and everything's okay, and I can't. And then he'd have to pacify her. It's okay, go home. I'm safe. Balaram's with me today, and Sudam and Stoka Krishna, they're going to be all. It's fine. Oh, but your feet are going to be hurt. No, no, no. The calves, they're ahead. Soften the ground. So she'd run, go back, okay. And then she'd run again and grab him, and well, no, I can't stand that you're going. So this went on for some time. Every day it went on for some time. To the point, Krishna was getting a little embarrassed. His friends are there. What's with your mom? Are we going to go to the? I mean, can we go now or what? I mean, please. So they had the calves. They took care of the calves, and they saw Krishna dispatch some demons, and they, as we heard, Aghasura, the dispatching of Aghasura was a big deal, and it attracted attention amongst all the gods that control material affairs. So much so that even Brahma, creator of the universe, took note of the party that was going on after Aghasura was killed. He had to fly down and see what was going on. He was invisible to everybody, but he still was checking it out. This Krishna guy, wait, is that my Krishna? This could be fun. I could actually interact with Krishna here. So he decided to interact. That didn't go well for him. And so we come this evening to Maharaj Parikshit had asked Shukadeva Goswami what happened to the year. Why wasn't this killing of Aghasura immediately explained to the village people when the kids came home? They certainly would have said something. It wasn't their nature to keep their mouths shut. They're young kids. It's no secrets with young children at that age, Kumara age, from 1 to 5, calf herders up to that age. So Sukadeva Goswami explained to Maharaj Parikshit, well, actually there was this incident and Brahma stole the calves and then Krishna expanded. So we've heard that narration, and Balaram has been kind of gradually, carefully, it was all explained to him because, he is so close to Krishna. Why wasn't I told a year ago? He became a little upset, actually. He didn't go out for 3 or 4 days after that, after Krishna finally revealed what happened. He was a little upset. So the boys are coming to the Palgunda age, and now things are going to change again. Now we need to know that when we look at the smiling face of Krishna in the Bhagavatam, we're seeing a sampling of the Lila of Krishna. So when we hear of a specific day and the killing of a specific demon and a specific demigod like Brahma coming down, or all the demigods having a party and throwing flowers, well, there were 365 days in every one of Krishna's years. And they partied and they killed demons and they went on adventures and played together every day like that. So our Bhagavatam is giving us a sampling of that Bhumi Lila, when Krishna comes on the earthly plane and Vraja Bhumi, it's here. Mother Earth is supporting the pastimes. Oh, actually, she begged for the pastimes. the very beginning. But that's another story before we're here. So I won't try to go down that road right now. But she begged Krishna, help, help. These demons are all over the face of my, just making a mess of everything, killing my inhabitants, killing the animals, plants, exploiting the resources of me. What do I do? Please help. Brahma, what do I do? You have to get some help here. We look out today and we look at what's happening in the world. There seems to be also many demons here now that are exploiting Mother Earth. And but Krishna is here now. He's coming in the form of his holy name, under the able guidance of Sri Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, which is going forward and will be present for some considerable time under good guidance. And sometimes not so good guidance, but it will persevere. We won't go there right now. Young boys have reached the age of 6. They've come home. They're now, the Kumara age has ended. 1 year of it, they weren't even there. But were they there? Well, we could go to the Acharyas, and Kavi Kanapur says they were actually there. They entered into the form of Krishna. That was the expansions of Krishna. So some interesting things happened during that year. They weren't fully asleep, but they were also taken over by Krishna, so that their parents and the cows could relate with Krishna directly. So it was a very interesting period. So they graduated. Of course, see, it's a village, and in the village there's always a whole new group. It's not like, well, here's Krishna's group, and then there's no more children after him. There's no more children before him. Just like sometimes we look in a very limited way. We say, well, there's my guru, and that's it. There's no gurus before my guru. He's the best guru. There's not going to be any gurus after my guru. No, time marches on, and society goes on, and different generations of people come and go. So Krishna's of a certain generation. His friends are in a certain generation. So more friends are coming to play with Krishna of the younger age, of the Kumara age, because now he's graduated to the next age. Well, they have to have calves to play with. So because they need their calves, because they're excited to go out and play and become cowards men and grow up, well, then Krishna has to go up. He and his friends at the age of 6 and up. Actually, Krishna's younger than that, but that's another very detailed thing to look at. Krishna Lila is so deep. It's meant to pull us away from the thinking of the world that is so detrimental to understanding what is our true spiritual life. Our true spiritual life, think about it. It's this Lila of Krishna. That's our spiritual life. It's a magical life. You're walking on Chintamani, wish-fulfilling ground. The ground that you walk on wishes to fulfill whatever you desire. Every tree is a Kalpavriksha tree. From it, you can take whatever you want. It may not be a banana tree. It may be an apple tree, but it'll give you bananas. Or buckets of gold, or what jewels, or whatever mystic opulences you want. Chintamani, Kalpavriksha. What a land. Wizards, magical things flying in the air, people changing shapes, young boys killing big demons. I mean, this is our spiritual place of residence. All the fruits and flowers, Krishna is walking through the forest. They're bowing and trying to touch his feet. They're stunned in ecstasy and love of him. The river stops. The rivers, the moving objects stop moving, and the fixed objects start moving. They start melting. This is Vraj. It's a mystical place. As much as we think of mystical things, we go to the theaters, they're working so hard to take you into a fantasy world. The fantasy world is already there. You can enter it. It's in your heart. You've taken to a practice, and through that practice and through that initiation, you've been given a passageway into the greatest fantasy world, which is the Supreme Lord's Lila, his dream, made specifically and totally for his absolute pleasure. But he doesn't like to play alone. Who of us does? So we're allowed entrance into this place, and there's these, it's amazing. If we think about it, if you read the Bhagavatam, look at what is being said here. Not enough could be said. 2 or 3 verses coming into this pastime of Denukasura. We're talking about Krishna is praising Vrindavan there, praising himself and the relationship he has with the land, with the environment. He has to cover his praise up because, you know, brother's there, and so he talks as if he's praising Balaram. Balaram, everybody's liking you, and everybody's trying to serve you, and the bees are humming, and the birds are chirping, and everybody's coming to praise you. But really, he knows, well, I may be a little bit more attractive than my older brother. A little sibling rivalry there. So this is spiritual life. It's a fantastic life. It's everything you expect out of your vacation. We pay thousands of dollars to get away. And where do we go? We want to go to a fantasy world. We want to go to Hawaii. We want to go to Disney World. We want to melt into what was the vision of one man. We really do. We'll spend hundreds of dollars. I've heard to go there, you have to pay $100 to get in the door or more. To park your car, you're going to pay even to park your car there. So we want this so much. We save up month in and month out. If we're lucky, we might be able to go there once in a year. Most people aren't that lucky. Many can't go for a long time. They have to save up so much. Or we want to go to Hawaii or Australia. We want to see the beautiful Aurora Borealis. We want the fantasy land that is there in the core of our heart right now. We can go there. We just have a little cleansing to do. Chetodharpanamarjanam. We have to want that place more than any place else. Now think about that in relationship to the material wants of having your vacation. You want it so much that you work week in and week out, day in and day out, month in and month out. What? To get that extra little bit of money set aside so you can finally go on your dream vacation, only to arrive and find it's raining for the whole week. My wife and I, we went on a dream vacation. As soon as we arrived, there was a hurricane coming. The cars came along with the lights and the sirens. Get out of here now. Wait, I just paid. I just paid for this house for a week. My son and his wife, and she's pregnant, and we were going to spend time together. I haven't seen him for 5 years. Never spent any quality time. No, get out. Well, that's the material world. It's unfortunate. But that's what we strive for, these vacations. We want to go to a fantasy world. We want to enjoy, but we just don't know how to do it. So the smiling face of the Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, gives us a glimpse into this world. And the glimpse, as I said, it's a glimmer. We're seeing, oh, here's a day. Here's a day during Krishna's Kumara age, or 2 or 3 days. And here's some days during his Palgunda age. So this Palgunda age is the age of a graduation. They came back, and as I said, the younger boys need calves now, so they get to take the cows. And Krishna and Balaram are a little bigger, a little stouter. Mother Earth is really a little happier now because Krishna is so heavy that the imprint of his shoe, she can look at all the marks on his body, on the sole of his foot are now pushed into her. So she's liking this much, all the creepers. So this beginning of what chapter is this we're looking at? 15th chapter discusses Krishna and Balaram now becoming cowherds. And as cowherds, there's the advantages of being a little older and having a little bit more responsibility. And well, Krishna's coming of age. Krishna's really, this is a special time, and he's starting to feel, as I said, more in tune with his environment in this age. If God could feel more, well, he's playing like a child. This is his Lila. So he's growing up. And naturally, as we become older, we became more aware of our environment. So Krishna's becoming more aware of his environment. And that's how this 15th chapter begins. Krishna's becoming aware of his environment. And as I said, he's noticing the way that the environment is pleased to have him. So pleased that it's like the Madhava month, the spring months. Every time he goes, all the flowers are blooming, all the birds are chirping like it's springtime. And it doesn't matter what month it is. It's like that when he goes into the forest now. He's taking note, and he's praising the environment, and he's praising it by praising Balaram. Just see, brother, how everything is taking notice of you. Everything's here to please you. Everything's worshiping you. The trees are wanting to offer you fruit. The bees and the birds, all the animals are thrilled to have you amongst them. And so it's quite a unique situation. And Krishna, as I said, is playing. He's playing hard now with his friends. And they're thrilled. They're super excited. And in his playing, he likes to imitate the birds. And all of his friends are like pushing him on. Yeah, dude, yeah. So he does that, and they hear the sound. So the Bhagavatam, there's verses here bringing out these characteristics of Krishna's interaction with the environment and how he's imitating the birds, imitating the other animals, and he'll make his voice real low, and he'll make the sound of a lion or a tiger, and all the children his associates will be a little scared, and we better get out of here, run away, and he'll run with them, although he made the sound to begin with. So hard to imagine. At one point in their play, some of Krishna's close associates, Sudam, Sridham, Stoka Krishna, they bring to the attention of Krishna that there is a nearby forest. Now, Krishna is playing in Vrindavan forest now with them at the foot of Govardhan Hill. And they say, not too far from here. In fact, the fragrance you can even smell now. Smell that? That fragrance? That's the tall fruit. It's just a few miles down the road. Another forest, Talavan. And that's the smell of the tall fruit. But we can't go there. No one can go into this forest. There's a demon there that's taken the shape of an ass. And he refuses to let anybody enter and taste the sweet fruit. But we'd like to taste that fruit. And really, they didn't want to taste it. They wanted Krishna to taste it. But, a little trick here. And, Krishna and Balaram, an ass, demon in the shape of an ass. Well, why did somebody just kill him? I mean, it's just, how could he be so? Oh, no, this is not just any ass. This ass is a man-eater. It's actually eating people. Well, I'd like to see that. That would be interesting. Let's go. So they go to the Talavan forest. Balaram's immediately, well, I don't see any ass around here. So he goes up to the huge palm trees and he starts shaking them, and the fruits start to fall because they're all ripe. And this is in the Bhadra month. It's fall. That's pointed out. So it's kind of right around this time, August, September is the Bhadra month. So he's shaking the trees, and the fruits are falling, and well, Denukasura hears this, and he comes out. What are you doing? This is my place, and none of you people are allowed here. So he walks up to Balaram. He turns around. He kicks him with both his hind legs right in the chest, and he's elated. This ass has just like made an ass of himself. He starts running around and praying. Look what I did! I just stopped this little kid from shaking my trees. What? He's still standing here? So he goes in for another kick. That wasn't a good idea. Balaram grabs him by his hind legs and whirls him around. And he whirls him around so strongly, so viciously, that this demon, Denukasura, immediately dies. Balaram tosses his dead body up into the top of one of these palm trees. Actually, it says in the Bhagavatam, the tallest palm tree. And in tossing his dead body up there, the tree begins to vibrate, so much so that the trees around it begins to vibrate. The tops of the trees start to break off. It's just like a domino effect. All the fruits are falling down. And all of Denukasura's friends come out. What are you doing here? And they see the head ass has just made an ass of himself and been killed. So they start a little battle, and Krishna and Balaram, one after another, kill every one of them in the same exact manner. They whirl them around, their life heirs leave, and they toss them into the tops of the trees. And the commentaries of the Bhagavatam, they say it's looking like a gorgeous sunset with the blood of the trees and it looks like the clouds with all the bodies in the tops of the trees that are breaking and the blood coming down. It's like a red, gorgeous sunset and all the fruits, and it's gorgeous. Well, we said it was a fantasy land, and you can imagine this is what can happen when you're living in the Lila of God, and everything about it is a supreme fantasy. So now we have a lot of fruit to eat, but the fruit's mixed with the blood, so the cowherds don't touch the fruit. But they enjoy the fragrance, and to that in and of itself satisfied their appetite. And then Krishna and Balaram return to Vraja. And that's a whole explanation again. So both in going to the forest with the cows and returning home that evening, Sukadeva Goswami opens the window for us so that we can look into the loving sentiments that everyone is starting to develop for Krishna. Very deep love is coming from, as Krishna and Balaram come back, the dust from the calves is falling on their bodies, and they're just it's not, you know, when your kid comes home from playing all day, it's like, boy, you look a mess. Well, here's Krishna coming home with the dust of the cows, and he looks more gorgeous than when he left. Again, this is Vraj. This is a place of magic. It's a place of a wonder. Everything there is wonderful. So Sukadeva explains them coming back, and the feelings of the young girls are starting to blossom. Krishna's a little older, shoulders a little wider, chest a little bigger, and his face, his eyes, his lips, they start to become attracted. They start looking like, they start to show him some signs, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'm up for that. And Vishwanath Chakravarti, the way he explains those reciprocations in his commentary, in his Tika to this 10th canto, 15th chapter, is quite intimate as to how the different bhavas, the different loving exchanges are starting to develop, and the competition between, the smiles of the gopis and the looking of the gopis, and the gopis hearing Krishna's flute, hearing and seeing him and smelling him and wanting to taste him. And then there's a competition between their senses, and they're trying to steal that. But then they still have to remain shy, so they have to cover their eyes and their face. Oh no! But they lose the battle, and Krishna is a little thief, and he wants to steal that attraction that they have for him. He wants to reciprocate with that. So he sneaks in like a thief and steals their glances, and steals their, steals that sense they have of wanting him. It's quite an amazing couple of purports there, which I can't even begin to give a glimpse into. But we see Krishna is coming of age, and he's starting. All the residents of Vraj are starting to fall more deeply into love with him, and he is starting to reciprocate even more and more deeply. This builds to a crescendo from the time he came from Mathura, and came as a young baby, snuck away from the king's palace to the time that he returns to that palace of the king and dispatches him, the loving sentiments for Krishna are increasing unlimitedly to the point when he finally leaves, the residents are completely devastated. One thing I do want to share with you regarding the dispatching of the demons by Krishna is I'm always drawn to Bhaktivinoda's explanation of what these demons represent to us. Because as we hear these pastimes, something's happening. Not only are we being entertained by Krishna Lila, but we're being purified by Krishna Lila. And this purification is happening just as Krishna is actually dancing on our tongue as we chant his holy name. And our whole heart, our heart is being purified by this Sankirtan movement. So similarly, as we involve ourselves in Krishna Katha by hearing it or by chanting it and by remembering it and being thrilled by it and becoming more and more attracted to it and understanding its unlimited wonder and the depth. As far as you go into these pastimes, there is that much further to go. And when you think you've just reached the zenith, I think I understand Krishna. The Lila itself reveals more to you. This is the nature of spiritual life. It's ever fresh. It's the nature of Krishna. He's ever expanding. His Lila is ever growing as we grow closer to him. So this particular pastime, Bhaktivinoda Thakur equates all the different demons with various anarthas, various things that stand in the way of us coming to a platform of entering into, well, basically samadhi. These anarthas are standing between us and entering into absolute absorption in Krishna. An absolute absorption which will absolve us of all material involvement. So this particular demon, Denukasura, represents gross discrimination. Basically looking at spiritual life from a material viewpoint. And this demon is dispatched by Balaram. So there's two demons, Denukasura and Pralambasura, who are dispatched by Lord Balaram. And these are things that we have to be ourselves. All the other demons were killed by Krishna. So Krishna is automatically purifying us of those anarthas. But these two demons, and this one, Denukasura, represent gross discrimination. Gross discrimination, in a nutshell, and well, I'll just share with you Bhaktivinoda's words, and we'll close with them. If I get started on this, we'd be here for a while. Here's the secret of Vraja Bhajan. If we want to enter into Bhajan on Vraja Lila, here's the secret, Bhaktivinoda says. Denukasura represents the bad mentality which carries heavy loads. Pralamba, well, wrong explanation. Wrong book. He explains these demons in two books, Krishna Samhita and Sri Krishna Siksamrita. It's not the explanation I wanted to share with you. So this is from the Krishna Samhita by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Subtle discrimination is extremely important for Vaishnavas. In other words, we have to be able to, we have to know what is the objective in a very, it's esoteric. This knowledge is esoteric. What the Guru's giving us is very, very subtle. We have to take the time to hear attentively so that it can come in to our minds, seep into our hearts so that we can really understand. Subtle discrimination is extremely important for Vaishnavas. Those who invent social distinctions and preach the unbreakable principles of Vaishnavism while breaking them to suit their needs are said to possess gross discrimination. This gross discrimination takes the form of the ass Denuka. The ass cannot eat the sweet palm tree fruits, and he opposes others' attempts to eat them. The purport is that the previous acharyas of the authorized sampradayas have written many spiritual literatures, which people with gross discrimination neither understand nor allow others to see. As like devotees, his words, not mine, who are simply interested in the regulative principles and under the control of gross discrimination are unable to attain a higher platform, Vaishnava principles are so unlimitedly exalted that those who simply remain entangled in the regulative process without endeavoring to understand the science of attachment are comparable to ordinary fruitive workers. Therefore, until the ass Denukasura is killed, one cannot advance in the science of Vaishnavism. Well, I have a lot I'd like to say about that, but my time is up. Are there any questions about what we did speak about? Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna.